All right, so let's start with our special guest. Florian, good to see you on the stage. I was waiting for this moment. So I have a question for you. You are very big into like marketing, putting out content. You are very big in France, and recently you opened up for the international market. So congrats on that. Digidop.com looks good.
Thank you.
So I wonder, what are the best like strategies and lead funnels that like what converts the best for you when getting clients?
You start with a good one.
Yeah.
So to gain a bit time and thinking about it, first I want to say thank you to everyone to make it again this year. Like I've been here like last year, and I don't want to finish on the thank you, as mentioned, just Mason, just learn you. And yeah, like Niche last year was a very good experience, and I'm happy to see that again this year, like you are all here to share this moment with us. So yeah, we go to .com. We were like very focused on one industry, which was like .fr, so very like a French market. And we decided to make the switch. First, it was like a technical challenge, like migrating a lot of content with a lot of articles, a lot of SEO purpose. And we decided to, in a way, play safe because you mentioned conversion. But what we're good at since day one, we try to recyclate and duplicate our content everywhere. So we're like, even if we lose lead from 6 months, basically, on our website, it's going to be fine, because we have like good relation with Webflow, so Webflow will send us leads maybe. We are going to have like some leads also from our social, from like our media and everything. So we don't find like, we don't have like one very specific conversion funnel who works better. We are more like in the vision where we were talking this morning about like buyer journey, and we try to be everywhere. By example, right now, we start having like very good success about people who learn Webflow with us like years ago on our YouTube channel. Yeah. And in the meantime, this year, like we have been helped a lot by Webflow, like going enterprise level, like having more and more leads on enterprise level. So yeah, basically, like this morning, trying to be everywhere, like buyer journey are very, very tough to track. I hope it answered the question.
Yeah, I think so. Like, amazing job on going global with Digidop.
Yeah, helped by Tonic. I don't know if you saw the showreel, but it was a very good showreel made by Tonic, and I was happy to collaborate together.
Thanks, yeah, that was awesome. We love each other. Yeah. All right, you can't scale without hiring great people, and you have a lot of great people in Flow Ninja. So what are your hiring tips?
My hiring tips?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that we don't try to find the best person, because we're really bad at hiring senior people, because every single time when we tried hiring somebody who knows a lot and they're kind of like a superstar or rock star, we made a mistake. So we just realized that kind of the few things we're looking at is like that somebody's intelligent, so that they can actually get things, and that they're hardworking and motivated. Because the longer and longer we're in business, one of the things I've realized is like you cannot motivate people. My idea was consistently like, how can I motivate people? How can I motivate people? And I realized that there is no hope for some people, unfortunately, and like, you cannot get motivation into them. But like my biggest focus and what I tell to all of the people I work with is like, how can we not demotivate people? Because it's really easy to have a highly motivated person and then for you to make a mistake, because things move really quickly, like in a business. You make a single mistake and you go from having a highly motivated person to somebody who hates your business and like doesn't want to work for you. So I mean, like I personally also do make mistakes, but I'm consistently reevaluating. Did I make somebody mad? And like, how can I continue having those motivated people be even more motivated? And how can we maybe find like additional hardworking people who are motivated and I'm sure that they're going to learn? And even to our clients, what we say is like, we're probably not the most experienced agency ever. Like, I don't know, like we have people who were mechanics, we have people who were doctors working at a studio, but they're gonna try harder. So like they're gonna pull an all-nighter, they're gonna work over the weekend. In the process, they're gonna learn, and like the next time when they're delivering the service, they're gonna know what they made a mistake on, and like they're gonna be able to live up to the promises. Versus maybe hiring a fancy role who's gonna be really detached from production and is always gonna think that they're better than everybody else, and they're just not gonna deliver that. So my biggest thing is like hire people you believe in. Don't wait for anything to happen soon. It takes years and years and years. And a lot of your personal investment. I mean, like I talk a lot with people, and I also hope that like our managers also talk to other people, because like I guess it's a big company at the moment. But like at one point I was kind of detached. I thought, hey, I'm living the dream. It's like the 4-hour work week. I don't have to talk to anybody. It's like the perfect thing. And then things slowly started to like deteriorate in the business. And then you actually realize, when you're like at the higher level, the only thing you should do is like get as many contacts as you can. and with that make decisions, because for me, like the person that runs the business should have the most amount of context. So it should talk to the most junior people, the most senior people, and then try to figure out what's the reality, because it's always somewhere in between. There is not always that somebody's right, somebody's wrong. It's somewhere in between, and that you can mediate between those two things.
Well, looking at Flow Ninja's growth, you're doing a great job. So, anything to add here? Like, Mason, what's your strategy of hiring great people?
Yeah, I don't know. I probably have, one, I would say that hiring is really personal. And the way that I hire is going to be very different than the way that our director of operations, Marina, hires. And for me, like, I probably have like the longest hiring cycle ever, where it's really around, like, I will start talking with someone and I will have a sense of who they are and where their strengths are, and maybe how those strengths can be applied to problems that we're seeing from customers. And that will happen in a lot of different ways. It'll happen in meetups like this. It'll happen in, maybe there's a small freelance project, or basically trying to get those micro interactions. So it's not just one, I don't know, like, super formal kind of like, oh, we're going to have an interview, and there's a second interview and whatever. Now, Marina, she will go and, like, she does things totally differently. She will go and take a more structured approach, and she will have like a defined job that we're looking for, and like, and I think both of those can be really successful. It's like kind of what works within your personality. I would also say that it's about, like, growing the Serbian office, been working with Lemmy, and it's like Lemmy's network that he's been able to build, and looking at like how he hires. And so a lot of what I try to look at is how to, there's stuff that I'm really good at. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not good at. I've identified what I'm not good at, and how to being able to delegate that. And especially growing, an international team. So it's, we're based out of Atlanta. We have a team in Argentina, a team in Serbia, and a team in South Africa. Each one of those regions has been really, specific, that we want to understand the cultural differences of those regions, and then lean into how to be able to attract the right kind of personalities and people that can go through, and again, have a strength, be able to apply that to a client problem, and then be able to deliver against that. Also, I just want to give a shout out. I am doing my best to impersonate Ryan Seagal, so just,
Yeah, and also here to add is, I mean, like, adding the right people to the hiring process, because I would not be able to do anything without a team. And I mean, like, currently, like, Tamara is leading our HR team. And also every single time when we're hiring, it's actually the team leads making a decision who they're going to hire. So like on the design side, like, somebody's going to, like, and even if they make a mistake, they're going to know that we made a mistake together, and we're going to work through that, versus actually me trying to put people inside of teams and like hoping for the best. So it's like involving as many people from the company in the process as possible, so that even if we make a mistake, we know that like all of us are in that together, and like we can fix it long term.
And I would love to get your perspective, Flo. Like, you have a smaller agency, and like, from your standpoint, what it takes to make it to Digidop?
Sorry, like, can you please go again?
Yes.
What
so,
it takes to
from your perspective, what it takes for a person to make it to Digidop? Like, what are you looking for in people, especially from like a perspective of like a smaller agency?
Yeah, very clear. So yeah, to give a bit more context, we're like a smaller agency than Flow Ninja, by example. We are 10 people. We stay lean, and for us, which is really important, is like the good behavior. Like you mentioned, like about people who want to work. This is very important for us. Someone who want to work with us is very important for us. And after, we are like a remote-first agency. So basically, there are a lot of things when you can fit in like 2, 3, 4 interview like process. And we are going to learn how the right fit will be when we are going to meet you in a way. And so we are going to meet you in 2 ways. First, we are going to have like a first project, even if you are like start working with us. And we are going to see how you position yourself, how you face problem, how you are like handling the situation. And second, we try to, like sharing some time and to meet like every 2 months, every 3 months, let's say, to share like a moment of life. And I feel that you learn a lot about people when you are like not at work, but in a moment of life. So by example, we do like a seminar, and when we do a seminar, we are going to see if you are the right fit in the way like how you behave with the team, basically. Because at the end of the day, we just share the work together, and it's not just about him doing this or him doing that. We do feel that, if someone in the team struggles, like someone have to team play with him. So it's how it's going to be like for everyone, especially when you're small, because you have to be very agile on a lot of things.
Exactly, awesome answers. So I feel like we could talk forever and I would ask questions like all day, but we have like 20 minutes, so let's give it up to the audience, since they are the most important people here right now. So ask questions, guys, like you have superstars here. Oh, we have a lot of questions there, so let's start.
Nice meeting you guys. My name is Uroš. Sorry. My name is Uroš. I'm the CEO and founder of Braincraft Holding. We have 5 companies under the holding. And I think I've known Uroš for quite some time, so I picked his brain. So a question for Mason and Florian. Uroš can chime in, of course. How do you set your goals and how often do you set them? What is the process of that goal setting? Do you do it with your team? Do you do it with yourself as a CEO, as a founder? So yeah, just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so goal setting, I think it happens in a lot of different ways. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, it's a great time to be able to start to think about like, oh, what are our goals? But I also think that, what I think we've started with is really a thesis. Like, what's the thesis that we want to be able to prove? Like, what's this overarching idea that we're trying to prove out in the market? And then how do we chip away at that day in and day out? And I know that for us, like, we will go and try to be like, okay, let's go and set, our start of the year goals. And then all of a sudden it's like we're busy and like all this stuff happens and it kind of gets in the way of that. And so I think trying to get back to that thesis and trying to get back to how to restate what our overall mission is, and then in one-on-ones being able to break that down into what are the practical things that we can be doing week by week. And sometimes that just like directly applies to where we are within client projects, looking at like what is it that we can learn, what are we seeing out there in the market, how do we go through and address those sort of challenges and opportunities, and just rinse and repeat that. So about once a quarter I'll go in and do like a quarterly recap. Sometimes like this past, I went to a little bit past the first quarter to be able to do the recap. But again, trying to go back to that thesis and then day to day breaking it down into just what we're doing within one-on-ones. So.
Yeah, so I will add on that. We break down also like the goals. So we have like we figure in like, let's say a vision on 2-3 years. I think like betting on more than 2-3 years right now in the industry is very tough. But we take bets, like let's say nobody knows really where we're going with AI. Nobody knows where we're going really our market in like 2-3 years. But I do believe that you have to have some conviction and try them, Probably some will not get into it, but you have to. So we have like a vision at 2-3 years. We have like after a breakdown by quarter, and after how we set up them, I would say 2 ways. First, of course, you have your own mind, but your own mind is made by how you exchange with people. By example, like attending here niche like for 2-3 days already, sharing some talk like formal or informal, you shape a bit like your vision in like the next 6 months because you feel like where the market's going by talking with people. And after like clients mention, so yeah, each project, by example, when we face some struggle and we like, by example, lose some profitability, we are going to set some goals to the team, like why this project doesn't work well, and after we are going to try to figure out like how we can improve that and that in the next project. So yeah, just break down in different steps. Hope it answers like your question.
Yeah, extremely valuable. Appreciate it.
Right. Any more questions? Right behind you. Oh, in front of you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mihailo. I work as an SEO and content manager at Flow Ninja. And I actually want to ask a couple of sales-related questions, as there are a couple of really experienced people in sales on stage currently. So my first question is, are there any differences in how you prepare for a sales call for someone from the US, someone from Serbia, or someone from France? Are there any differences how you approach, or are these sales calls like similar? Are people similar all around the world? So this is my first question for all 3 of you. And the second question is how you deal with people on sales calls that are highly unlikable. Meaning that, sometimes people are really friendly and nice and want to talk with you, the potential clients, the sales calls, but sometimes we face these grumpy CMOs or marketers or whatever, and it's extremely difficult to talk to them. So what's your approach in those kinds of situations? Thank you.
Nice question.
Okay, I can start. So with your last question, how we approach, first, like a friendly lead, it's not always the best, you know? Like sometimes the very rude guy, like I know he wants what he wants, he knows what he wants, and you can figure out pretty easily. Sometimes when you are just like, you know, building a relationship, it's tough to know really what he thinks about you. And, you know, if he's just like a friendly guy, maybe he don't like you, he don't like your proposal, but he will not say to you. We prefer like sometimes some guy who say, no, this is shit, but I want that. And we're like, okay, we understand, but we're going to figure out. So this is my first take. And after on how you deal with country, of course it's different. Like opposite side, like US are like more like valuable. Yeah, they value a lot like the relationship. They are very aware of Webflow. There's a lot of motivation on the project which are not the same as in France. In France, let's say like the CMO want to play safe. You want to be sure like you are going to technical under the project, that they will not have like GDPR like compliance problem. Like lot of security and you know like question related about that, which are not too much from our experience. The case in US. And unfortunately, I never work still with a client from Serbia, but maybe one day. I love Serbia, so you know I will be here more and more, so maybe one day we'll find one deal here.
It will be hard with Flow Ninja B.
No clients from Serbia. Yeah, just joking. I mean, when it comes to kind of working with clients from the US versus Europe, I think there's a really big distinction between that. Because in Europe, sometimes it's more relationship-based, where you find, like, maybe create a relationship with somebody that somebody trusts you that you're going to do the good job, versus, like, in the US, you could be a total stranger. If it makes sense for them, like, on paper, they're willing to bet. And also, like, in Europe, they're all, like, making a lot safer bets. Like, whenever we work with a European company, they want to have a sure ROI, versus a US-based company is probably having a lot of funding, and they're, like, maybe spending money in 5 different places, and one of that is going to work, and like maybe 4 are going to fail, but they're more keen to risk than like European companies, which are usually even more profitable on that case. And I mean, like when it comes to working with friendly and unfriendly people, I think in the end my day is going to be the same, so I'm just trying not to be kind of mad at kind of people who are for like being maybe in a different way. One of my friends once told me that like he's like, are they paying well? I'm like, yeah. Are you frustrated? Yeah. Can you make it fun? I'm like, maybe I can make it fun. So I'm just trying to figure out ways to like make working with some customers which maybe I don't like a lot, but they're probably paying really well, somehow fun, so that in the end like it can work out, because you're gonna know that you might not like their personality, but if they're paying well and like you need that to pay the bills, and you just need to figure out a way in your head to make it fun so that it's a fun experience for you to play around with that maybe personality
just
in the end.
Crying and typing, you know. Mason, what's your take?
Yeah, I would just say that I try to suss out a lot around how to respond. I guess I was saying in the presentation within that discovery call. So I want to know, like, really, it's less, I think, probably important around region and more around, like, how is it they want to consume information? And then I go in and really, like, totally, some people, they want to see the budget on the first slide, right? They just want to be like, here's what it is, you know, this, and now I'm going to, you know, and now I'm going to unpack the rest of this, which someone else might really want to understand the process and how we're going to get to that number and things like that. Also, if someone's a jerk, we will often turn down the work. But that's a privilege that we can mostly have. But then a lot of times it's like, you know, we have customers that turn into jerks, and it's, you know, you try to do your best to suss out, because I think the people that we work with does impact the people that we work with, and trying to do the best we can to protect the team, try to make it fun. But I think making it fun is just so that there is like at least a collegial nature that which we're approaching the work.
Yeah, so I would add something to it. So at Tonic, we at our homepage, we had for a long time a saying that we don't work with assholes. So we're just very straight up with it. And it worked pretty well, because we don't want to work with assholes. So you can also be straightforward with it, and it works. All right, any more questions? Here in the front. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the microphone is going. I love the collaboration. Nice.
Thank you. Hi. Anna from Edgar Allan again. Besides having a privilege to work with Mason, I do freelance. And since we are on shitty clients, I have a couple of them this year. And my question is, how do you fire shitty clients? Because I had to do that, but still keep the peace, because you don't want somebody spreading like awful stuff about you. So how to do it nicely and try still to get paid for the work that you have done, but sever that relationship.
I think Uroš gave like a very good tips on that. Like higher your price a lot, and like higher price a lot, and even like the client will be like, I don't want to work with you anymore because you're too pricey, or you will be, okay, I can't handle that because for that amount of money, you know. And it's a good way to just say, I have too much work. You just say simply, we have too much work. My deadline for like working with you on that project will be like delayed a lot. Like you will have to wait 3 months. Or say, my price right now are this one. It's very political, chill. And,
Yeah, that's nice. But when you're in the middle of the project and they are jerks, and you're like, I cannot work with these people anymore. I have to like sever the cuts. I know we have some situations in Edgar Allan where we fired our clients, and I want to hear those like tips and tricks how to do it nicely and not be a jerk yourself.
Well, I mean, like, I think that we have about one client per year, which is a jerk that we kind make a mistake on, and that you just have to eat your own dog food in the end, because either maybe, sometimes it's usually me selling the project, unfortunately, so the team is not happy about it, so like you just have to eat your dog food and finish the project and just know that there's not going to be anything else moving forward, so that you end on good terms, you finalize everything, you gave more than what you needed, and based off of that, you might get the referral long term. Because I also realized that a lot of the referrals that came in maybe for some bigger projects were for customers that we hated the most. We ended on good terms and they left and they're like CC in email, like they send us an enterprise client. I'm like, if we ended in a bad terms, like this would never happen like long term. So there's that part, and there's also like in terms of like change requests and trying to figure out how to set an actual change request of how can that work. We recently started to implement that, so I cannot say our like official change request is gonna work as expected. But it's just about if something in the scope changes, it's usually the timeline changes and the resources and the pricing. So by continuously sending that backwards, it can at least align you with a customer of what is what's possible on that front end. It's at the moment like the financials in the agency are good, and like I'm talking like this, like everything is like a fairy tale. But then you also have a year where something is like pretty bad, and you're like, whatever my team says that the customer is bad, I'm like, no, they're not. He said they're the perfect customer ever. I was like, well, whatever. So it also kind of depends on the phase you're in, because if you have enough money to pay your bills and to pay salaries and be profitable, you're gonna make different decisions. Versus like if you're on a break-even side and you're trying to survive the month, you're probably gonna make different decisions, and it's also really hard to give an answer to, and you're probably going to say it's easy for you to say it's something like that, because when you're in a good spot, it's easier to fire clients versus when you're not.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions for you guys. So the first question is, did you have any mentors when you actually started working, or advisors, or was it more a trial and error journey? And the second question is, how important is to find a good co-founder, and how did you find yours? Thank you.
Sure. So I don't have a co-founder. But I do have people that I have built the business with. And for me, just like when you're building a business, basically what you're doing is you're putting on everyone thinks it's a creative business, really it's a contract business. And those contracts can start to become really pricey, where someone can go through and try to litigate you for the cost of your house. They can come after you for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so I think that's one of the things that can become challenging when you have co-founders. The second thing is you had asked about mentors, and I think for me, so I talk with my dad weekly, and I just tell him where I am with sales, and he has all these great like sales quotes that he's given me over the years, like it doesn't matter what you make, it's what you can sell. The last thing a salesperson does is sell something, but it is the last thing. And we just kind of go back and forth and talk about that. But it really could be anyone. I think it's just, I think building a business can be really lonely. I think that was one of the things that was probably the most challenging within the first, because I was fired from my last job. Like, you know, I was fired. I didn't have severance. I didn't have savings. I freelanced. I freelanced for 6 months, and we've grown at 20% a year. So it's a 13-year journey. Like, you know, we were doing a lot of really great things, but it's been a grind. And I think having a community to be able to commiserate with first, to be able to talk with, to be able to share what's working from a sales standpoint, it can come from anywhere, and just finding the people that you can relate with.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, like for my side, I'm a solo founder of what sort of say, but I have really great people around me. I think it's really important for you to find maybe up to 5 to 7 to 10 people who you're really going to spend time and invest time in, because you're not going to be able to build a business on your own. And you really need to spend a lot of your energy into those people to make them kind of believe in the vision, in the mission, and everything like that, and for them to go together with you. Because it's not about only you making money, because like, for what did you make it? Like, you can go on vacations alone, and like, you cannot do anything in your life if you're alone. So it's just about finding people within the company who you believe in that are going to be really good, and then also telling them the vision for the company and trying to persuade them that the company is actually going to go in that direction, so that you're consistently building up people who are going to be there with you for the long run, and that you ensure that you're not hiring, like maybe the first developer, that you're not hiring a developer who you think is good or cheap or whatever, but that you hire the first person who you believe in can maybe lead your development team. Then when you're hiring your first designer or the second designer, that you're kind of finding somebody who you believe in can run your design team. On the operations side, somebody who you believe on operations and stuff like that. Just that you kind of choose people who you actually believe in long term, and that you invest the energy inside of that. And then afterwards, like, it becomes more of a hiring game. But you really need to surround yourself with people who you believe in long term are going to be a great fit for the company and kind of are going to be able to lead some of the aspects.
Did you have a mentor?
Did I have a mentor? I technically have an advisor. It's Nenad. He ran a really good studio kind of here in Niš. So I was able to mostly do founders therapy with him, which is also pretty fun. Just go on coffee with somebody and just rant about how everything is shit, and he rants back to me, and like, we realize that we have done nothing, and like, we solved any problems, but it's just we just come home to sleep good at night. So it's like gossiping about instead of gossiping about other people, you gossip about the business and how hard it is, and you just sleep better at night.
Nice, nice. I'm curious about your story, because you have a co-founder.
So first, like, to answer the question about the advisor, yes, we have one. But I can recognize what Uroš say. Basically, I do feel right now with some feedback that he was just here to, like, you know, push us in a way, or just for talking. And that's what Mason say. I think that you can get also great advice just by the community, just by talking, sharing, and have your self-reflection, get instant feedback on sharing your ideas or what you're struggling with. And sometimes just doing that, like, you know, make the works in your mind. And after, yes, I have a co-founder, which is just here, like Thomas, which is the first time in Niš as well. I tell him some good things. Yeah, we can cheer for him.
Cheer for Thomas.
I tell him how good food here is, so he wants to try, and nice. Here he is. And yeah, I think that having a co-founder is very important based on your personality. Like Mason say, it's very lonely for him to, like, launch his company. And yeah, like, you know, you have the things you saw on internet, on social, like launching your business is amazing. I mean, there are a lot of things everybody knows, and there is the reality, and the reality not a lot of people knows. And the only one who knows, it's your co-founder, basically, because he lived the same as you. And this is a great advantage in the long term. First, like, business-wise, in the short term, it permits you to very quickly split, by example, like the specialties and like the tasks to do. And you can be, if it's trusty, and like Uroš say, like, you know, you have to believe in him. If you are like trust together, like, you can be just chill on half of the business, basically, because he handle that, you handle that, and you move forward. And yeah, after, at the end of the day, it's like, about your life, your experience, and, you know, you share some unique thing with someone or several people if you launch a company with several people. And I have big respect for solo founder like we have here, because it requires a lot more. And I mean, if I have to select a special sport, I would say 3 people are maybe the best, because 3 people you can take decision easily, you know, when it's 50-50, how you figure out. And we were having like an advisor, and at first, like with my co-founder, we say, okay, when we're like 50-50, and we don't know who's right in a way.
You fight.
Yeah, we didn't fight. We called the advisor and we said, oh, you know, we have a question. What's your thought on that one? And he don't know, but, you know, he handled the fight in a way, you know, like he's putting in voice. And after he just, yeah.
Nice.
Just about that.
So we have time for one final question of the conference. So who's going to take the pressure? Oh, we have someone in the middle here.
Here's the mic. Hi, my name is Marina Andic, and I'm a senior Angular and Android developer, side-eye to Uroš. But now I'm switching to UI UX design. So I had my first client, and I was designing a website for her, and everything was great until we reached the sales page. So she provided me some copy that was huge, very, very long text, and my first reaction was, what's this? Like, no, I cannot design this because it's too much text. But then I was curious, of course, to see why she wrote it like this, and I found out that this is 12-step foolproof sales template by David Frey. So I assume you're familiar with it, but maybe for the people who don't know about this, it's like 12 steps how to attract your clients. And there is like to get attention, identify the problem, provide the solutions, show the benefits, give social proof, but everything in a long text. So I'm curious, what is your opinion on this? Should we keep it that long, or should we keep it shorter and to the point?
No matter what, I would say bite size, right? So just, we try to think about the follow the bouncing ball, make it really simple for someone to understand. 3 to 4 kind of overarching points. And the other thing I would say is that there is a ton of different frameworks and ways to be able to position work and pitch work, and there's no right answer, just like we talked about like all the different technologies and stacks and all this stuff. So find what works for you. I think fundamentally people want to be heard, they want to be seen, they want to know that you can solve a problem, and they want to know like that there's going to be value there and that you can be trusted, right? So you just like kind of hit across those very human elements, and then the rest of it, however you want to break it down, but probably I would say try not to have too much text on any one screen. But sometimes you need to be able to send over something that's going to be like a read, like you're sort of like leaving behind, so it's just sort of a knowing the audience and how it's going to be used internally.
Yeah, I don't think that I have the right or wrong answer to something like this, just because it's a really specific project question. So I think it's mostly about the discovery and like trying to use the end goal towards creating something like in the end. Because I've seen people, like sell millions and millions of dollars with the ugliest landing pages that have the longest texts, and I've also seen that not work. So. Maybe tonight I can give you like a good answer like on the after party when I get more details like in depth. But apart from that, I'm not sure that I can give like a right or wrong answer from the question currently.
Yeah, and I will say like Nisha with his presentation of the 3W, like why, what, who, is like the perfect answer to the situation. Like by example, our designer love to have not too much content because it's easier to make something beautiful with less content. Yeah. And when they face the situation, we say, okay, right now you have to sell that to the clients if you want to make that happen. And so discovery question is the best way to say, okay, but this is useless, meaning like your endpoint. And so you can like just, step by step, putting a bit less and less.
Thank you very much.
All right. So that's a wrap.
I'm curious, like, I mean...
What?
I'm curious, like, Dawid was here for the whole day, attending all the conference, and nobody have a question for Dawid? Because I think he has a lot of knowledge.
You can ask me on the after party. That's what we can do.
I invite you to do it, because he has a lot of knowledge, and he was, like, head of the industry, like...
Thank you. It's all about you now. I'm just hosting. I'm just sitting there.
And I think he did it very, very great.
Thank you. All right.
I mean, like, before we wrap up, I have to say a huge thank you for kind of hosting everything. You were amazing. Like, you made a conference what it is today. I don't call a lot of people friends in my life, and like even though we spend not a lot of time together,
it's very intense.
You're one of the few people I can call friends, and that has kind of good intentions and that you're doing kind of everything like this. So a huge applause for you first.
Thank you. Thank you. And a huge applause for all the beautiful speakers here. And Uroš, I love you, man. Thank you so much.